What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining me today on Vicious Whispers with Mark Tullius. Today's short story, we always play at the end of the episode. It will be Glory, that is taken from Twisted Reunion. I'll tell you a little bit later why I picked that story. Man, it's been a little while again. I am not consistent. Definitely made me think about that. Another thing I'm not consistent with, I promised myself like a month or two ago, I think I talked about it on here, that I was going to start posting on social media fucking every day like I should, to build up the career, how important it is for an author to do that, any kind of artist, any kind of entrepreneur. And I've done almost nothing, like maybe a couple days here and there. Just something I have not done. Same thing with the podcast. I was going to do it every week for a little while I was, but man, I got so much shit going on that, it's just not happening. I will try to do more. In fact, I'm going to be doing a really cool one tomorrow night with my buddy Walter. I'll talk about that a little bit later. And so we'll have something to put out next week for sure. But I'm realizing with such limited time, I need to do the shit that makes me happy, the shit that makes me sane, that makes me be a better father, better husband. And so right now work is kind of like, I'm still working for sure. I'm always working, but I got so many different projects too. I'm kind of spread thin. So if you don't hear from me every week, you know why. But I'm here today, so that's all that matters. Episode 40. Let's make it a good one. Let's see. Well, as far as brain-related shit, I've pretty much put everything on pause. It's been that way for a couple weeks now, maybe a little bit longer. I realized I was just getting probably too depressed by looking at everything, talking to all these guys that have issues, looking at my own issues. And so now I'm still working on the book because I'm doing therapy. I'm doing the neurofeedback and other things that are trying to improve my damaged brain. But yeah, I put off the writing for right now. One thing I have realized is how difficult it is to say and to accept. It's like, yeah, I do have brain damage. I've had a lot of traumatic brain injuries. My brain is injured. Talking to any of the professionals that I'm working with that are doing either the cognitive testing, that are doing the neurofeedback, that are doing other things, they would all probably say the same thing. Like, yeah, you have traumatic brain injuries. Your brain is currently in an injured state, and hopefully we'll be able to fix that. So that said, now I got all kinds of excuses. Yeah, doesn't matter when I fucking forget who people are and shit like that. Now, luckily, I don't know, I'm good. I'm in a good place. So whether or not I am able to improve, whatever. I'm feeling good now. I feel like I can do shit. I'm producing stuff. I'm being sane. I'm being more emotionally stable. I'm not getting all angry. And it's not like I had a huge problem before, but it was definitely an issue. So there's a lot of improvement on that. One of the things that I also realized while doing the book is that I have everything that I'm reading. I'm reading so much nonfiction, reading all kinds of like books on philosophy, on meditation, on mindfulness, on how our brain works. Everything is saying, yes, do some form of meditation. Do some form of meditation. It's important. All the talks I have with my buddies that have CTE, that's one of the things that helps them so much is doing meditation, whether it's, just regular mindfulness or type of breathing or whatever it is, something to kind of bring them into the moment and out of their heads. And so what I just started was I did the Wim Hoff, right now on the Commune app. He had a free 10-day thing. You could buy it at any time. In fact, I bought it because that way you have access to these episodes all the time. And every day it's just watching like a 10-minute video of Wim Hoff talking, and then doing the breathing exercises with him and doing a cold shower and breath retention. And so that's been good. I had played around with it before. I hadn't done it consistently though. And today I'm on, I think, day 8 or day 9. And it's been good. Been going outside, jumping into the pool, which is kind of cool. It's definitely not fun. but I'm trying to learn to enjoy it more and more. And I definitely want to do an experience with Wim. I'm not sure where I'm going to do it at. I want to go up to Germany or somewhere around there, and that'll be later in the year. And that's kind of one of the nice things about not rushing this book too, with the traumatic brain injury book, is I can go ahead and say, oh yeah, I'll do that I'll do that a year from now. And the same thing with the psychedelics. I need to let my brain kind of heal and improve before I even fuck around with psychedelics, hypothetically. And so that's going to be sometime next year. Lots of conversations that I had planned to do right now, I've just put them off. In fact, I've done that without telling the people that I fucking put them off. So Mike, Shane, fucking everyone else, I'm sorry. I've just been busy. I've been fucking... I should have told you, but I'm sure you also don't care. So we will talk eventually, Kirik. I have so many awesome guys lined up. Josh Barnett said he is down to do an interview on CTE. I have so many fighter friends that are willing to do it. But right now, I just need a little break from everything. I believe I am going to jump back into it this week. And one of the real reasons I want to get back into it is my one friend who's dying. I want him to read his part that I wrote about him in our interviews before he dies. So that way he can see it. He could tell me, what he likes, what he doesn't like. And, whatever he tells me he doesn't like, I'm like, fuck you. I won't tell him that. He's dying. I wouldn't tell him that anyways. That would be mean. But no, so that is one reason why I am going to make that switch. Plus, the other reason is I just finished up what I had set out to do. Thanks to a message from Chris Nicholson, a fan of mine. She's, I think, read and reviewed almost all my work, if not all. She was saying something about the second book in Messiah and looking forward to that, and got me thinking, oh shit, I was like, fuck, when am I going to write that? I'm working on Beyond Brightside. I have all these Try Not to Dies. When am I actually going to work on book 2, which is working title right now is called The Bridge. So I went ahead and just grabbed it. I looked to see how much was done, and it was a solid amount of work because I started writing that one before I wrote Messiah. So this is like 2010 is when I started The Bridge. And so there's so much shit that doesn't work that was just garbage. But I realized I figured out how I was going to format it, how I wanted to plot it all out. And it's only about 2 days in this guy's life, this guy Heimdall. The present day is like he's 37 or so. And the other day that was important in his life was when he was 12. So that's what I just completely developed. Went through the whole thing. I'm really happy with it. So it's about a third of the book. It's going to be the first third of the book. But yeah, it's super solid. I'm going to do one last pass on that in the next 2 days. I'm not worrying about fine tuning it or anything like that because I still need to rewrite all the other shit and stuff might change. And then after that, I'll do another rough draft, then give it to an editor, then another, So it's a long-ass process, but it feels good knowing that I have a third of it that is solid, that is done. Well, not done, but in my head, I can set it aside now and be like, okay, let's move on to the next thing. So let's move on to the next thing. How about this shirt? Try Not to Die. Finally got it. But they're not for sale yet. I gotta figure out who I want to go through to make them. I am kind of happy with this one, except for the back. They had to kind of rush it to me. They did it a different way. It's more like a fucking iron-on. That's gonna end up coming off. So I don't want that for sale, but I will figure it out. And when I do, I will let you know in case you want your own Try Not to Die shirt. What else is going on? Today I will be sending off the final illustrations to a graphic designer so we can get the covers finished for Untold Mayhem, which is the short story collection, 24 short stories about madmen, murderers, and some other fucking M word. Oh, misery, motherfucking misery. So that will be coming out. Sending that off today. And then the original Brightside, we redid the cover. My buddy Jeff illustrated it. And so now we just got to do the graphic design, all the text and that shit on it. So I'll send that off. And last thing I wanted to mention was I just added 2 more authors to the Try Not to Die series, co-authors. Um, they neither one of them are writers, but I have realized I'm not concerned with that. I can pull if someone's motivated, if someone has like if I can talk with them and get along with them, they have any kind of imagination. It's like I could pull a story out of them. And both of these guys seem highly motivated right now. In fact, one of them is coming over tomorrow night so we can really develop it. He was trying it on his own a little bit, and he told me, he's like, man, this is so much harder than I thought. And that's generally what I will hear, especially from someone that hasn't written before. So I told him, well, I was like, well, the way to do it, to really get shit done, I was like, come over here, we'll smoke out, and then we will fucking knock out a whole shitload. So if you want to listen to that, make sure you check out next week's episode. I'm going to record the session. Yeah, I think, he has a general idea, but we're going to see how much we can do like in an hour's time with that general idea. I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to plot out most of the book. And even though maybe that initial plot line will change a good amount, it's still going to be solid. It's enough to get us started on the process. And that, I think, is one of the biggest things that slows people down. Just like, well, fuck, where do I start? I don't know where the story goes. I don't know where it starts. I don't know who the character is, all this kind of shit. All these reasons not to do it, to just get hung up on it. So we're going to get rid of all that tomorrow night. So yeah, definitely check that out. And Walter, he is Walter Salcido. I met him a couple months ago when I was on his podcast with another friend, Alex. What is it called? Fighters Planet Podcast. I don't know what episode I was on, but check that out if you like. But yeah, Walter seems like a really cool dude. So that will be tomorrow night. The heavy metal singer that I mentioned that is also probably going to be doing a Try Not to Die. We still don't have confirmation yet. I need to meet up with him. It all sounds good. It sounds like it's definitely going to happen, but I don't want to get too excited about it until it actually does. So that's in the work. And then we have one going on with this guy, Mike. And so we need to figure out exactly what it's going to be. He has an idea. I just don't know if it will work in this format. So we need to figure all that kind of shit out. But yeah, that's pretty much all that's been going on. Man. Yeah. Can't think of anything else. Just been being a dad, hanging out with my son and daughter. Mainly my son, though, my 6-year-old. Yesterday we were playing a lot of Legos, had some cool battles, played some Xbox, fun stuff. And that's what I've got to realize, too. I was like, man, it's just about enjoying the moment. Even I took him to the dentist the other day, and just looking at him, I was able just to, just be happy about being there and being able to be his dad and being there for him. And it doesn't really matter what the moment is. Like, if you're in the right frame of mind, if you got your perspective down, then you're going to be a lot happier. And that's all I've really been aiming for lately. I spent way too much of my life being a fucking miserable prick. Maybe not a prick, probably just, let's say, grumpy. Most people on the outside probably thought I was fine, but I'm a much happier person now, and I definitely encourage people to try to take that approach. All right, well, shit. Let's get out of here. I got work to do. Like I said, I got to send those files off so we can get the covers done. I'm excited about that. I'm sure people want to get their books. So let's go out on a story. Today I picked one of the stories from Twisted Reunion. It's called Glory. It's about some younger kids, and that's why I picked it, because I just got done spending so much time looking over the bridge where it's a bunch of 12-year-olds. I'm not sure how old they are in this story because I didn't feel like opening up the book and looking, but I'm sure you'll hear all about it. All right, guys, hope you enjoy this. And yeah, definitely stick around for next week's episode with Walter if you want to see how a Try Not to Die is created. All right, hope you guys have an awesome week. I will talk to you later. Peace.
Glory. This was Tony's idea. It always is. He's crouched down beside me behind this juniper, and he won't even look at me. He has his eyes locked on the dimly lit park waiting for us at the bottom of the hill. If the cops drive by, they'll see us running down there. Tony doesn't seem to care. I whisper to him, "You're gonna get us killed." What? Nothing. I'm going. And if you're going to chicken out, give me the camera and go home. I don't think this... I trail off as Tony turns to me. Even in the dark, I know he's making that face. The one where he's questioning if I have anything between my legs. Relax, there's nothing to worry about, Tony says. It's hard to keep it to a whisper. What if he's in there somewhere? I scan the bushes. All I see are shadows, and they're moving. I know it's the ring of flickering red and yellow floodlights, but I can't help but think it's someone lurking. There hasn't been a murder since they started locking it up. That psycho split. What if he's just waiting? Tony ignores me. I say, he's probably watching us now. Tony is focused on our target in the middle of the park. The floodlights encircle the bronze statue of Achilles. It's 15 feet high, not counting the 5-foot stone pedestal. Achilles is holding his spear in one hand, a shield in the other. The top of the helmet looks like a stone mohawk. His boots rise up to his knees. The rippling muscles of his thighs are almost as impressive as his chiseled arms. I don't want to sound like a coward, but I say, he's probably just waiting for someone to enter the park. I can tell Tony is about to make fun of me when the circle of floodlights flicker in rapid succession. This is part of the display, the new security. The city installed lights after Christina Peterson ended up with her throat slashed. She was the third teenager who'd been murdered. The killer, they said, could have been a copycat. The first two boys had their eyes gouged out. A different calling card. But all of them died right here. Tony leans forward. He's looking at something. What is it? I ask. Nothing. I thought I saw something. Saw what? Nothing. Let's just go, man, I say. You gotta stop watching those horror movies. These murders stopped when the cops closed up the park. The guy left town. You don't know that. No one knows where he is. You want to risk it for some prank? No one knows but the cops. My dad says they didn't release details to anyone. That bullshit going around school is just that. Some stupid story to scare little kids. Tony stands and looks down at me. So are you going to be a little pussy, or are you going to come down there with me? I'm not a pussy. I get up and follow him. But if I hear anything, I'm out. Tony chuckles. Not a problem. I'll be the one running right behind you. We creep down the hill and move from bush to bush. The red and yellow lights playing off the bronze sculpture of Achilles' massive torso and outstretched arms make it look as if the Greek god is ruling over hell. We get to the 6-foot fence surrounding the statue and lights. My head is spinning and I have to rest my hands on my knees. I listen for noises. All I hear is Tony's breathing, the one thing I can't seem to do right now. I pull out my inhaler and take 2 long pulls. Dude, keep it down. I couldn't breathe. Tony waits a few seconds. You ready? I've got my face to the fence, checking every shadow for movement, looking for any excuse to bail. Are you sure about this? Tony grabs my inhaler and chucks it over the fence at Achilles. It clinks off the pedestal. What the hell, man? You should get that, Tony says. You're a dick. I know. If we get busted, you're paying my bail. I point to the white and red sign on the fence. Look, no defacing public property. Violators will be punished. Tony's looking at the dark bathrooms on the other side of the park. You read it wrong. What? It says prosecuted. We're talking about breaking and entering, violating curfew, and vandalism. They're not going to do anything. No one's out here. But what if they do? I can't go to jail. My parents would kill me. You won't go to jail, dumbass, Tony smiles. They might take you to juvie, though. That's not funny. I know a kid that got raped his first and only night in there, and he was only busted for shoplifting some candy. You know a kid who was raped? Who was that? I hate it when he calls me on my stories. My cousin Glenn told me about it. He used to be a probation officer. Yeah. And he told you about a boy being raped? Yes. I don't think he did. He fucking did. Then he was trying to scare you. I guess it worked. Tony gets up, pulls a digital camera from his pocket. He flicks it on, and all of the yellow lights encircling the sculpture blink off. Why did it do that? I ask. Must be some electrical glitch. No big deal. Tony puts the camera away and motions for me to get up. Let's go get famous. He points at the sculpture bathing in the eerie red light. No one's touched that stupid thing since they put it up. I use the fence to pull myself to the top. Yeah, for good reason. No one's dumb enough to come out here. We're going to make a name for ourselves. Now stop talking. Fine, help me over. Tony laces his fingers. I step up in the makeshift stirrup and look down at him. You better follow me. Just go. I scramble over the fence, land on the wet grass. Tony lands next to me, and the spray cans clink in his backpack. The red lights circling the sculpture flash off. Tony grabs my arm and I nearly scream. All the lights flash back on, and I push him off me. I heard something down there. I lie. Tony shakes his head, eases off the backpack. No one's in here but us. Tony slips on his mask and holds the camera above his head like he's going to take a selfie. But instead, he lifts 2 cans of spray paint in front of the lens and says, Welcome to Pittsburgh. He hands me the green and keeps the black for himself. I adjust my mask and feel the camera on me. There are probably only 3 or 4 people watching this, and all of them are in our class, but I'm picturing the 10,000 Tony said would be tuning in. All I want to do is scale the fence and run back home. But I snatch the can and I walk down the hill, try not to look scared. Tony following me with the camera doesn't make me feel any better. It's hard to breathe, and my head's on a swivel. We make it to the picnic tables 20 yards from Achilles when every light in the park flickers off. Complete darkness. I freeze. What's happening? We're happening, man, Tony says. I don't turn back, but I know he's doing that wide-eyed mug for the camera, the one he's been practicing all week. I hear him hit pause. I see Tony check his watch. It just turned midnight. They must be on a timer. All of them? That's what it looks like. The red lights around the sculpture flare back on. Tony hits record. So much for the timer, I say. Tony hits the pause button. Stop ruining this. Just go. We need some light for the camera anyway. You go. Tony hits record and points the camera right in my face. Are you ready? He growls. I put my hand over the lens. No way, man. I don't even want to be here. You go first. You're going to break it. Tony pulls the camera back, keeps shooting me. Who's the pussy now? I ask. Tony pushes the camera into my chest, nearly knocks me over. I don't know if he pressed pause or not, but I picture the guys at school laughing their asses off at how stupid we look. Tony tells me to point the camera at him. I do, and he pops the top off his can, creeps past the picnic tables, and mumbles that he's not a fucking pussy. I watch him through the screen, trying not to breathe too loud because I know he's going to rag on it later. So will the guys. Listen to fat wheezing Maddie. Surprised he ain't crying. Tony steps inside the ring of lights, and the yellow ones spring to life. Tony's almost the color of the statue. He freezes for a second, like he wants to flee. But he surprises me, takes another step toward the sculpture. The lights begin to alternate red, then yellow, over and over again. Tony stands at the base of the sculpture and glances back. The lights cycle faster. I wave him on. I'm getting all of it, now do it. Slowly, Tony spins in a circle, his eyes squinting. He says he can't see past the circle of lights. Someone's fucking with us. Do it, go, man. I zoom in on the statue's profile. Achilles' chiseled features glow in the lights. I stay on Achilles' upper body, hear Tony take another step. The lights cycle even faster. They begin to strobe. Achilles seems to rock to life as the lights bounce off his bronze skin. The glare is brighter than anything I've ever seen. Finish it and get out of there, I tell him. It's hard for me to make anything out. I hope the camera captures something we can use, that we can change the exposure later. It won't do any good for the live feed, but maybe we can fix it in post. Are you doing it? I finally ask. Tony doesn't answer. I step toward the circle, a veil of light, just as impenetrable as the darkness that surrounds it. Dude, get the hell out of there. Again, no answer. I take another step and trip on a rock. I throw out my hands to break my fall. The camera and spray go flying. I pick up the camera. Hope it still works. I can't look away from the image on the screen. Achilles' brutal eyes staring directly at the camera. A halo of hellish color swirls around his head. I don't care who hears me. The cops, the killer, anyone watching this feed. Come on, Tony, let's go! The lights snap off, and the entire park's engulfed in darkness. I don't move. Just wait for my eyes to adjust. I see shapes. I hear a hiss. It's Tony spraying the top of Achilles' head. Tony is on his back, sort of riding the mythic figure. I check the screen. It's too dark right now. I can't see much, so I flip on the night vision. Tony's climbing the statue, trying to stand on Achilles' shoulders. I scream for Tony to go for it, to get up on the statue. Although I know I shouldn't be encouraging this. It will sound better for the video, though. No one wants to hear the cameraman promoting caution. Suddenly, Tony wobbles. It's like he's surfing, his arms out trying to balance. I step to the side and keep the camera on Tony and Achilles, my feet moving slowly, trying to get one of those Michael Bay-type shots, when Tony's body jerks back. His foot must have slipped, but it seemed like he was punched or shot by something. He's falling backwards on the other side of the statue. I hear the sharp crack of him hitting the cement. I keep the camera pointed at the ground as I run over and see Tony on his back. I don't know if he bumped his head, if he's unconscious, but I hope I won't have to call 911. I ask if he's okay. I tell him, try to breathe. There's a noise right behind me. I turn, expecting to see the killer, but it's just Tony's spray can rolling on the concrete. Jesus Christ, I say, and I start to laugh, realizing how ridiculous I feel. There's no one there. Just a stupid can. The yellow lights flash on. I'm blinded, but I blink a few times so I can see again. Oh God. I wish I couldn't. Something is pooling around Tony's head. It's blood. So much of it spreading on the concrete. The red lights flash on, which makes it all the more vibrant. I want to run away, but it's so beautiful inside the circle. The lights begin their mad cycle, speed to a full strobe within seconds, and it almost seems like Tony is moving. He's not, though, and I don't know what to do. I just point the camera at him and keep filming. He's going to be famous.